Hey guys, Wasatch Will here. I am off on another little overnight backpacking adventure. This time, the trailhead was my house. So this is a cool little trip I like to do every year or two. It can be done as a day hike, but I'm going to do it as an overnight tonight. I am heading up to Slide Canyon. I'm going to camp up on Y Mountain, and then hoping to do Provo Peak in the morning, and then come back down Slate Canyon back to my house. And so it's one of the perks of living where I do is I can go backpacking right out my front door. So it's about 6:30 in the evening. Again, I just left my house about 5 minutes ago, a couple blocks away behind me, and now I am walking through the Utah State Hospital grounds, and it's pretty nice up here. There's like lots of parks. Really pretty here. I'm actually going to shortcut through something called the Castle here in a few minutes, which is an amphitheater built to look like a castle. Beautiful day, beautiful weather, sunny, and I'm hoping to catch the sunset from the campsite tonight. Be a sweet spot for a sunset. I've got about 2.5 hours to cover about 6-ish miles or so to get up there. So the race is on. So I am heading for the top of this guy right here. This is Y Mountain. Why is it called Y Mountain? Well, it's because right here there's a big white block letter Y, kind of hard to make it out from this angle. But that's a big white Y that is there. That stands for Young and Brigham Young University, as in BYU. That's actually where I work, and we'll get a good look at it from up there on the Y. Very popular hike up to that Y. Here is the castle. So this place is actually registered as a National State Historic Site. Here's the amphitheater. There's also a cool fish pond back here. It's got a fountain going, but there's quite a bit of big trout in there too. Now I'm just working my way up to the Bonneville Shoreline Trail, or simply the BST. Just got a zigzag switch back up the hillside up here. Alright, I've just joined up with the Bonneville Shoreline Trail here, and I've got about a half mile or so to go to the north here up to the trailhead for the Y Trail. So the Bonneville Shoreline Trail gets its name for being a part of the actual Bonneville shoreline. All along the northern Utah here, there used to be a great big sea, or a great big lake actually, called Lake Bonneville. It's an ancient lake, and what's left of it is the Great Salt Lake and Utah Lake. And of course, the Great Salt Lake came to rest, and all the salt from the lake rested into the the bowl that the Great Salt Lake now sits in. And so hence all the salt that is collected there, and hence the name Great Salt Lake. But yeah, this Bonneville Shoreline Trail here is very popular for mountain bikers, runners, joggers, walkers, and of course the occasional backpacker. And of course the view pretty much the whole way along this trail is a nice little view overlooking the valley here. So look at Mount Timpanogos to the north here. Hoping to get all over that mountain later this summer. So I just crossed over the property line into a BYU property. They actually own the section of the hill here where the big block letter Y is. Right up to the top they own that, and then it becomes Forest Service land from there. So that means we're about ready to start going up again. Gonna top off with some water up here at the trailhead first. So after a brief stop down at the trailhead for the Y trail here, I am now ascending it. A mile of switchbacks up to the Y, or thereabout. I was able to top off my water bottles down there at the water fountain. They got a nice little bottle fill spigot that I'd never noticed before. I think it might be new. That'll be another unique thing about this hike, is that between the water down there at the trailhead and a lot of springs up around this loop that I'm going to be hiking between tonight and tomorrow, I shouldn't have to filter any water. I brought my Sawyer Mini just in case, as I usually do for hikes like this. But yeah, in theory, I'll be able to put my bottles right up to the springs. They're all piped, so I don't have to filter. I've drunk from them before and never got sick, and I'll gamble with it again. Switchback number 5, halfway there. Here's what it looks like from the bottom of the Y. And here's the view from the top of the Y. Now made it to the top of the Y here. And I'd stay and rest a little bit, enjoy the view, but I've got less than an hour to cover 2 miles to get up to my camp where I want to camp. And hopefully catch a sunset. So I'll rest at another spot a little further up here in a few minutes, but I'm going to keep going from here. I am sliding up into Slide Canyon now. I believe these are Sego lilies, the state flower of Utah. So I'm sitting here at the edge of Slide Canyon now. Took about a 5-minute breather. Got a handful of trail mix in me and a little bit of a drink. And refreshed a little bit. Man, it's been a heat fest coming up here. Again, I left my house about 6:30. It's 8:30 now. Again, I've got about a half hour to get up to where I want to go before sunset. I don't think that's going to happen, but I should at least make it to my campsite before it's real dark. Anyways, we'll see what we see as we go up. We'll see if we see any rattlesnakes or lions or bears. Oh my. Hopefully none of the latter. Up we go. So beautiful. So I've hiked Slide Canyon here a number of times up and down. I've never noticed this cave over here on the south side of it. I wonder if any bears or mountain lions call that home. Alright, so Slide Canyon gets its name from, I believe, when early pioneers to the valley, they had built a fort called Fort Utah and other little parts of the settlement as they started to settle the valley. And they used to harvest timber up here on the south side of the canyon. It's a mountain they call Maple Mountain now. And they rigged up a slide down the south side of the canyon, or southern edge of it, and slid the timber down the mountainside. So hence the name Slide Canyon. I'm now walking through Bear Flat here. I'm assuming it's called Bear Flat because, well, there's probably been a bear or two sighted in here. I actually camped here about a year ago in April with some of the scouts in my neighborhood. I actually hung my hammock up in these trees up in here with a couple of the other guys, and everyone else threw out their tents out here in the flat. That also means I've got a mile left, and the sun's already set. Boo. So anyways, I'm hoping I can still got just enough daylight left to make it up to camp before I need to bust out the headlamp. So we'll see. I'll be heading up there tomorrow morning, but for tonight I'm heading to the left. So I just turned off on the fork. It's going to take me up to the top of my mountain here. It's going to be quite a little climb, about 0.8 miles to go or so, roughly. So on we go, upward and onward. Finally made it up to my campsite here. Just got to get the tent set up and soak up this nighttime view of the valley. I am inside my tent here. I had dinner, just a little mountain house. I knew I'd be up here a little late and didn't want to be cleaning up any dishes, so mountain house it was to make cleanup real fast and easy. And so I've been sitting in here just rigging up a few little modifications or personal touches to make this tarp tent notch a little bit more user-friendly for me. And I'll show off some of that in the morning when there's more light. But in the meantime, one of those features is being able to rig up my phone in a way that I can now watch videos. So that's what I'm going to do, is finish off this video and call it a night. Well, good morning. I'm up. I think it's about 6:30. Slept pretty good. Sun's coming up and out, and I think now it's just time to get my bear bag, and I'm already hungry, so I'm gonna bust down the bear bag and get some oatmeal and drink going. So for breakfast, I got me one of these Quaker Real Medleys. Sometimes I just bring oatmeal packets, but for this one I just grabbed one that I could fill up with hot water, and makes preparation super easy, and then I just collapse the cup and it becomes garbage. This is breakfast with a view. So here's a shot of Brigham Young University, or BYU, and I actually work in a building right at the tip of my finger there. It's the BYU Broadcasting Building, with all the satellite dishes and tower on top, where we put out a few radio stations and BYU TV and a local PBS station called KBYU. It's a great place to work, great people, and fun stuff coming ahead. We're looking forward to premiering a show we recently produced called Extinct. It's actually still in production, but it's a sci-fi written by Orson Scott Card, same guy who wrote Ender's Game. So look for that this fall, Extinct. You can even catch a trailer on YouTube. Just look up Extinct TV, and that's actually a website as well, extinct.tv. Here's Lavelle Edwards Stadium. Not a bad place to pull up a chair up here with some binoculars or a scope and watch a game. If you don't have tickets to a sold-out game, you're a fan of BYU or a fan of the team they're playing, this would be a nice place to watch the game. Here's a closer-up shot of downtown Provo. Quite the spot. Lots of unique restaurants, couple music clubs, and just a really vital part of Provo. Here's a shot of my neighborhood. In fact, my house is right down in the center there. I was able to talk to Jessica and the kids last night and actually shine my black diamond spot headlamp down that way and waved it around, and they came out and saw it. So they could see me up on top of the mountain up here. Well, here's a quick look at my campsite. So here's a couple of the updates I made to my tarp tent notch here. I've put zipper poles on all of the zippers here. So I got a couple on this side, and then the other side, both have them. And then of course, up in the fly, I've got them up here too. Now these aren't necessary, of course, but when I get cold fingers on a cold night, I don't like fiddling with these and grabbing the cold zipper, trying to find it. It's just so much easier to find the zipper and use the zipper with gloves or cold hands with little zipper pulls. So I am definitely a zipper pull guy, even if it adds a few grams of weight to the overall setup. So another update I made was with these little mitten hooks that come in each of the apexes or the corners, top corners of the notch here. I strung some orange paracord. I had some orange paracord left over at home. I thought the color looked nice here, kind of easy to see in the daytime or even in the evening. And what I did is I just kind of cut it to length, tied a couple little taut line hitches at each end, so that way I can make it more taut or loosen it up as desired to flex with the setup of the tent here. And so the advantage of this is, you know, I can hang some socks over it or any other kind of clothing that needs to dry if we're getting poured on and it doesn't make sense to hang it out to dry outside. It serves as a little clothesline to dry something above me while I sleep, or to air something out. I can hang little things off it. I can hang my headlamp off of it. I could even get one of those little clip lights or something to give me better light. And then of course, here is my phone, or converted to a video player. So I just got a couple rubber bands, a red rubber band on this side, a rubber band on this side, just holding it like so. So this is just another little luxury feature here. Don't know how often I'll use it, because I usually like to soak up the sights and sounds of nature, or just read a book or something, but it's a nice option to have when I want to just kick back and maybe watch a little video or a little bit of a movie or something. Up here I just have a little thermometer hanging up. Sometimes it's fun to get an idea of just how cold it got when you wake up. Didn't look this morning though, it was definitely plenty warm though. I don't know what it is up here, but there have been a lot of these little millipede caterpillar things, and somehow one of them made its way into my tent. So this pack I'm using is actually not my pack. Devin from Backcountry Exposure has lent it to me to test drive it. It's an Osprey Talon 44, I believe. And he's been nice enough to let me test drive it as potential pack that I might buy. Well, I broke camp, got it all packed up now, ready to head out. It's 9 o'clock in the morning. Probably an hour later than I'd like it to be, but we'll deal with it. So, can't top this view from up here. What a great little campsite. Right on the edge of the front country down there and the back country behind us. Hi ho, hi ho. On we go. Here's a view of Mount Timpanogos, and right down here is Provo Peak. Hiked that quite a few times, very, very popular hike here in Provo. And most recently, hiked it this last winter with Devin from Backcountry Exposure. So the true summit for Y Mountain is actually right up in here, and not back behind me where I just came from and camped. Even though from the valley it looks like the top of the mountain is where I was, but this is actually a few feet higher, maybe 50 feet or so. I'll have to go back double check that, but it's definitely higher, so that is the true summit for Y Mountain officially. There's no real trail broken up to it. Been up there once last year in April, kind of hiked up some snow to get up to it, but I think it was a lot easier then too, because there wasn't so much growth. But now you just kind of got to bushwhack and scramble up it a little bit. And further back from the Y summit here is Provo Peak, looming way back there in the distance. That is the direction I'm heading. Real pretty and green up in here. Alright, so I just came down this trail here from the Y Mountain up there, and now I'm back at the fork, and now I head up to Apache Flat. Gotta love these aspen forests with all the green growth underneath them. Well, we made it to Apache Flat here. Time to go fetch some water. We have water. Here's the spring coming out of that little pipe up there. I honestly didn't think I'd need to filter, and maybe I don't. I really don't remember last time we camped up here if we actually filtered this water or not. As far as I remember, it wasn't so pooled down here, and I could put a bag right underneath the pipe there and take it straight from there, but that pipe's kind of like almost submerged in the water here, and it's kind of pulling up, and some algae's growing in here, so I think I'm just gonna play it safe and filter it, even though I was hoping I didn't have to, but I'll go ahead and do it anyways. There's a nice little campsite here in Apache Flat. A couple of years ago when I came up here with some friends to do Provo Peak, my first time ever, we all camped out up in this little flat here, right around here. And I believe I hung my hammock between these two trees. Now I'm working my way up trail here to the junction that's going to lead me over to the Provo Peak trail. So another month from now, hard to tell, but these plants along the side are going to grow up to be big, huge columbine plants. This place up there here along the side of the trail just becomes a jungle of chest-high, beautiful white columbine plants, among other types of flora all through here. Here I am at the turnoff for the trail that takes me up to Forest Road 27, otherwise known as the Squaw Peak Road, and it's very tempting to keep going that way down Slate Canyon, which will take me back home later on, but I think I gotta go for Provo Peak here. Be my third time. Gonna go up and kind of around the up and over around the side of this hill, then traverse around the side of it, drop down the back side of it, down across the road, and then we'll see the peak in all its majesty from on the other side. I've dropped the pack off here. I got my little summit pack on, stuffed with the essentials. So on up Provo Peak we go. Like we got our first encounter with snow. Whew. We got another obstacle here. Some deadfall to go around. Don't like doing this, but sometimes you have no choice. End up creating little side trails around these deadfall spots. Holy cow, more snow. Here we are looking at Provo Peak, right there. Beautiful view from here. It's looking mostly clear of snow up the side of the ridge that the little trail goes up, but hard to say where else it might intersect with some snow. Hopefully it's not too bad. We'll go down and have a look, see how far we can get. Just came out the other end of Trail 62, and now I'm just crossing the Provo Peak Road here, Forest Road 27 or whatever it's called. It's across the road, it's back up, and nothing but up. A big, big way. Here we are at the turn off from this little road. There's the trail up to Provo Peak. A mile of nothing but up. Holy cow. Still going up, but I'm getting close. Woo! Just gotta get around this one last false summit, and the true summit's right behind it. I lied. There's another false summit up here and yet another little one between it and the true summit. But we are close, because here's the ridge line that leads up to it, so. Finally see it. Right where that little weather vane is, that is the summit. Oh, here it comes. Made it! That's a big cornice. Third time up here, it's still a butt kicker. Yeah, if it isn't already obvious, this is the high point of the day, 11,068 feet to be exact, and but I live about 4,600 feet in elevation, so I've got well over 6,000 feet of elevation loss ahead of me as I mosey on down from here. That is Spanish Fork Peak back there. Come over to the right, we got Santa Quinn Peak and Loafer Mountain, kind of a dual peak, two peaks real close to each other in that little clump of mountain. The one further out to the right that's real prominent out there in the distance, that is Mount Nebo, the highest mountain in the Wasatch Mountain Range. Might be just under 12,000. Might have to look that up. It's close to 12,000 feet, give or take a bit. Then coming out to the west here, we've got Utah Lake and Utah Valley all down around it. This mountain out here is called West Mountain. Honestly forgot the name of this mountain. I want to say it's Buckley Mountain right here, this lower mountain. And then right here is Maple Mountain. And this mountain is Y Mountain right here. I was just out on the top of that edge over there camping out. That's where I camped last night. Came up from there this morning. And then you got Squaw Peak right here with Rock Canyon right here. By the way, this is Slide Canyon right here. This is Slate Canyon right here. I'm going to be dropping down Slate Canyon when I get back to my pack. I'm going to be heading home that way. Alright, moving to the north. Here is Cascade Mountain right here. And then just beyond it, which is kind of blended in with it, is Mount Timpanogos. And then to the very left edge of Mount Timpanogos, there's a little peak sticking up out there, even further out. That is Lone Peak. By the way, all these high peaks make up the 7 peaks of Utah Valley. I'm hoping to do all of them this year. Hopefully I can find time to get up all of them. Anyways, here's the Cottonwood Ridge out here. And here's the Uinta Range way out on the horizon out there. Is the high Uintas. There's the Pfeiffer Horn right in the middle there, also called Little Matterhorn. Hoping to make it up there some point this year too. That's one I've yet to do. This is actually East Provo Peak, just to the east off this eastern ridge off Provo Peak here. And I want to say this is Freedom Peak. I can't remember for sure though. It's another one we can hike up to from. There's a trail that leads out of the top of Rock Canyon up to the saddle right here. And you can scramble the ridge, I think, and tag that peak there. So all these horizontal lines across the mountainside there, those are called terraces. I believe they were created in the 30s by big crews of people. They were dug out to help with erosion control, and it was by the CCC. I forget what one of the C's stand for, but 2 of the C's is Civilian Corps. It's one heck of a cornice. It's been a nice little stay up here, but it's time to be getting back, so down we go. Across the road. Now it's back up and over this hill. Going up and over around this thing. Now back down to the flat with the pack. Alright, got the pack back on. Just about finished all of the water I have left, but not to worry. Another awesome little spring just down here a ways at the top of Slate Canyon. So down we go into Slate Canyon. Nice cold spring water. Absolutely wonderful on a hot summer day. Woo! Oh, it feels good. Could almost jump right in. Just sit right in the tub. This would be a really nice campsite, except for the fact that the firing and everything is like right smack in the middle of the trail here. So you can see the trail going out that way. And you've got these city water management pumps going here. Kind of noisy a little bit, but this nice flat rock here makes for the perfect resting place. Probably the best place to take a rest on this whole Slate Canyon trail. Right at the top of the canyon here. And you get the view too. Nice little view. Now, these aspens over here on the other side of the meadow, that would make for some nice hammock hanging. Some nice hammock camping in there. At least until all this vegetation grows, fills it all up later in the summer. But right now, looks pretty nice. So you know it's a good snow year when this is flowing up here, because usually this is all dry all year long. Well, except for a very short time earlier in the spring when the regular snow melt runs off. But the fact that this is running now tells you we got a lot of snow this year. We're getting closer to civilization, as it were. Even so, that's pretty high up to find that kind of stuff. Well, I was hoping to find some ripe wild raspberries out here. But none of them are ripe yet, so looks like I gotta wait a while. This is supposed to be the final spring on the way down. Hathenbrook Spring, I believe it's called. This is the first time out of many, many times I've been to this that it hasn't had any kind of flow. Usually there's a nice little trickle coming out of there. For whatever reason, they don't want to flow. Well, it's kind of a bummer that that spring wasn't flowing, but no big deal, actually. It's a good thing I filled up back at the last spring. I still have a half a liter of water, and I've Got a little over a mile, between 1 and 2 miles to go, maybe a mile and a half, to get back down to pretty much my house. So just turn the corner and there's the valley. It's that close. Here's the trailhead down here for Slate Canyon. For most people that would have any interest in doing the same route I did, either as a day hike or as another overnight adventure, a little backpacking trip, if they started and finished here, it'd be done. But I'm not. So got probably about a half mile to 3/4 of a mile to go to get back to my house. A few blocks down in the neighborhood below here. Be nice being on a flat pavement though. Oh yeah. My feet, my legs are thrashed right now. Wow, this feels nice. All right, let's close this thing out. Back off the pavement for a little bit. This kind of trail isn't so bad though. It's hot. It's really hot. But here I am at the road that separates me and my neighborhood. Crossing the road here. Alright, well I made it back into my neighborhood and here at my house. I'm going to wrap up this trip now. I'm all done, closed out the loop. And man, it was a good little hike. A long way, or not a very long way, but a strenuous way. So, very strenuous miles. Alright, time to take a dip.